next piece. There was a discussion on GMO recently and how we should avoid it, which is fair comment. But there's nothing new under the sun, and his story always repeats. But what most don't know is the great gods as ascribed to by the tribal peoples globally, and they speak of how they gave them technology to aid them, like agriculture, which is actually correct. But that technology came at a price. Those same gods genetically modified the wheat here hundreds and thousands of years ago. Oops. Why? It was altered in a way to fatten up the harvest and was given to the tribal people. The harvest was us. Just saying. The mention earlier of the serpent pole given to Moses by God is now in symbolic use today as the rod of asclepius. Or asclepius. Whatever the pronunciation is. Asclepius, let's go with that. And it's also the symbol of the UN, the WHO, and what is known as the Star of Life, which is a double symbology slap in the face, as it's the symbol of the serpent wrapped into the six-pointed star. So not only did they corrupt law, but health as well. And this rod of Asclepius, or the caduceus, is littered in medical centres all over the world, and yet no one questions of it as to why. But let's go back to the words earlier about this rod. Quote, "This did not remove the source of the people's suffering. It enabled them to survive it." Unquote. This kind of explains the whole medical industry, does it not? It doesn't cure it or end your suffering. It only makes people endure it. Is it a coincidence? No, it's not. But there's more than one, and they're not one and the same. The caduceus has two snakes and wings, used as a symbol of medicine instead of the rod of Asclepius, which only has a single snake. But does anyone ask why God sent serpents to attack the people with any rational thinking pattern? And could it be what our series has said all along, that our laws, religions, poisons all came from the people who are wrongly labelled as Jews today? They are not. And they are the reptile-based entities of which are their actual gods. They are the Hebrew Anunnaki, and they are the sub-grey race. And they've used the people and Jews alike on this planet for a very long time. And it's time people woke up to the truth and hear it not as a quiet hiss, but a loud clarion call, or the serpent will issue its death rattle for all of our species. Now, during my research, I came across an interesting term and went to look deeper, and this is what I came across. And the word is Octarine. Octarine, which is the hidden colour and another example of the hidden knowledge on this planet, as all the occultic circles operate within the hidden world. Now, Octarine is known as the eighth colour. But is this another example like the 12+1 being prominent, of which we have covered many times in our shows? And is this an example of 7+1? One always being hidden. And are there other examples of this? Well, the notes of a piano or a musical instrument is 7 and is A through G. So why do they call it an octave, which symbolises the 8? What is the hidden note? And then we have the rainbow of 7 colours, and yet Octarine, the +1, is hidden. So what other important aspects connected to the number 7 are there, and is there a hidden element to them yet undiscovered? We have the 7 chakras, 7 years of blood change, the 7-year itch, the 7-year connection to your previous sexual partners. All people of the world except the elites are declared dead at age 7, and in the 8th year, 7+1, the state claims your estate you didn't even know you had. And then it said we have 7 continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe and Australia. But what about the Arctic, or the mention of the Aria? 7+1 again. Then we have the 7 days of creation, but does anyone ask what was done on the 8th day? The Tavistock mind control creative group known as the Beatles sang a song called 8 Days a Week. Is that 7+1 again? And if so, why? But this cropped up in research and may explain it. The Burmese version of the Theravada Buddhism stated the week has 8 days. So how does that play out? Well, the day Wednesday is divided into Wednesday proper, which is midnight to noon, and then noon to midnight is called Rahu. Oops. So Rahu is the hidden day then. And for those who have listened to the show We Are Not Ones and Zeros, part 1, I think, will grasp that more. But after 7 days, which is a week, but by the end of the week, you become weak, having had and been on the weekend by the weekend. So it's back to Octarine again. And is it significant? Well, perhaps this next description will give pointers as to why it was hidden. Octarine, also known as the colour of magic, or the king colour, and was the 8th colour of the spectrum. It was only visible to wizards and cats. Oh my! The bastions of dark magic rears its head again. Snakes in fur. And it is generally described as a fluorescent greenish yellow purple, as described in the book The Colour of Magic. And the only time non-wizards can see it is when they close their eyes, and the bursts of colour are Octarine. Not always, it's not. It depends on your soul development. So this colour of magic with its greenish yellow purple can be described as the colour violet. And given the New Age scripts based on the colour violet with the violet flame, etc., brings that particular narrative and colour into question, does it not? Follow the violet flame, they say. All hail Saint Germain and the violet flame. No. The golden one is the correct colour above your crown chakra. Not violet. Now this next description is from a book and also a game. And you know how they love to put fact into fiction-based scenarios. And it says the presence of Octarine generally signifies the presence of magical energy. Such examples are the Rimbo, where a spell of significant level wizardry is taking place, and the unseen university. And yes, there is an unseen university, but as often is the case, it comes with a trap. The magic and the wizardry is the trap, as you are conjuring the dark forces to get you to the unseen university. Now, to get to the unseen university, more commonly known as the Akashic, you have to develop the inner self to a level of mastery required to then enter the real unseen university. That is the key. This is why this show has asked you to work on yourselves, as you'll have far more technology inside of you than you will ever get external. The unseen university is a vast source of knowledge, and no, you don't have to sit there at a desk and read through a 300-page book. It scans it and it pulls out the information you need at that time and at your level of learning. On we go with Octarine. And again, they always put it in plain sight. And this is a name of a company as well, called Octarine. And this is their words of the details of that company. Is it a heads up and indicative? Octarine harnesses synthetic biology to develop functionally superior cannabinoid and psilocybin derivatives. Our mission is to improve the health and well-being of people worldwide. Really? Using our unique biosynthetic platform, we engineer microorganisms to produce a range of natural and novel, is that word again we covered last week, cannabinoid and psilocybin derived molecules with improved pharmacokinetic and therapeutic properties. We make supermolecules, improving on what nature already offers in ways that aren't feasible with traditional, quote, organic, unquote, chemistry. And they said we have developed proprietary enzyme platform technologies to efficiently modify molecules and fermentation platforms to effectively scale up production. Biosynthetic sounds to me like transhumanism testing. All part of the magic. And then we come to this section. And is it related? VMware plans to buy early-stage Kubernetes security vendor Octarine to simplify DevSecOps and enable cloud-native environments to be intrinsically secure from development through runtime. The Palo Alto, California-based enterprise software vendor said its proposed purchase of Sunnyvale, California-based Octarine will provide full visibility into cloud-native environments, so customers can better identify and reduce the risks posed by vulnerabilities and attacks. And it said Octarine will be embedded into the VMware Carbon Black Cloud to better secure containerized applications running in Kubernetes. Now, Kubernetes, Kubernetes, commonly stylized as K8, Mobius, is an open source container orchestration system for automating computer application deployment, scaling, and also management. And it was originally designed by GoOgle and is now maintained by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And it aims to provide a platform for automating deployment, scaling, and operations of application containers across clusters of hosts. And it works with a range of container tools, including Docker. Now, many cloud services offer a Kubernetes-based platform or infrastructure as a service on which Kubernetes can be deployed as a platform providing service, and many vendors also provide their own branded Kubernetes distributions. So where does this word Kubernetes come from? Well, it's Greek for helmsman, pilot, what are they flying or driving, or governor. And the etymological root of Kubernetes is cybernetics. Cybernetics and biosynthetics. Oh my. And then you throw in open source. And the plot thickens, does it not? For a final look into the term Octarine, I came across the New Age-based article, and you can judge for yourselves if it's indicative. And it's stated as follows: there's been a lot of buzz lately in the mainstream indigo circles about the crystal children, a new ray of manifestation engendered by the indigo cobalt people. And according to the popular literature, crystals are extremely sensitive to the point of near autism and are extremely impressionable in many ways. In many ways, crystals are more difficult to handle and understand than indigos are, or were. Are they? Well, it's time to don the old cobalt spectacles of discrimination, and let's think about what the crystals are for a moment. They vibrate in response to things around them, and they are totally transparent. They're also fragile and can be easily shattered. They are great for extremely sensitive electronics gear that requires precise frequencies to function correctly, like a computer, for example. But the article said, why would anyone be born with that much vulnerability and hope to survive intact and sane to functional adulthood? Life in this world is difficult enough for the indigo soul, but it would be nearly impossible for a crystal soul. And the answer is that they are not. The article goes on, it would be nearly impossible to survive a crystal childhood without being drugged or institutionalized. So no soul will voluntarily enter the world manifesting that psychic frequency. The crystal manifestation is something that happens in the middle of an indigo's life, after they have made it through life trials and have developed their senses. Transiting up to crystal is the culmination of their indigo work, according to this article, and close query has uncovered another interesting fact, that the colour isn't crystal at all, it is octarine, which is a colour that isn't in the normal visual range of human eyes, but is the manifest of colour of high magic, spelt with a CK. Oops. And is on another colour octave entirely. And it said, to the untrained eye, it appears to be a colour without colour at all, and therefore is like a crystal. But the extremely high frequency of the energy field is what gives it away. Now, this is a common trait. That was what was said in the article. This is me. This is a common trait of the Wiccan, witches and New Age-based peoples, is to immerse themselves into magic, whatever way it's spelt, with a C or a K or a CK. Spelling is the operative word. And so the person writing this article goes on, to keep my points and writings clear, I shall from now on refer to this energy field as octarine instead of crystal. Transition into octarine begins around the 39th year for most awakened indigos, and flowers into full manifestation during the 42nd year. Transition is marked by changes in eating and sleeping habits. A lot of our members will have experienced this, but not this terminology. Sudden ending of some interests and the beginning of others, and a series of strange and vivid dreams that are remembered into waking periods. These dreams are all connected and have consistent themes and tones. Some are teaching dreams, some are warning dreams, and some are nightmarish in their cinematic quality and depth. Octarine, it is said, according to this article, is also marked by a sudden increase in sensitivity to everything from noise, to smell, to clutter, to people. You might have a harsh transition that you nearly become a hermit, shunning the places you used to enjoy visiting, like concerts, movies, sports events, and other crowd-drawing events. And the pressure of the people is like fingernails on chalk all of a sudden. Food habits will change, sometimes radically. Processed foods may seem harsh and over-seasoned to you, and you may crave more wholesome foods. And it says, listen to and obey your body. It knows what it requires. Alcohol will become nearly intolerable, as will tobacco. Sweets will be too sweet. Most snack foods and drinks will become indelible. Drink lots of water. Cut back on caffeine. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. It is said that concentration will change too. It will become harder to multitask, if not impossible. That is a complete, not a misnomer. If you write, you probably will not be able to write with the radio or TV playing, and possibly only certain kinds of music. You will find yourself almost obsessed about certain things and totally ignoring other things that used to totally engage you. Clutter will become oppressive to the point of distraction. If you get the urge to declutter, do so, even if it means renting a storage place to put it in. Order and beauty will refresh suddenly your new sensitive soul. Clean house, you'll feel better. If you are ill or injured, your healing time will shorten exponentially. Conversely, some illnesses will hit you harder than others. You will also be able to help heal others either by touch or intuition. No matter what religious path you are on, you will strive to deepen your practice or your devotion and plumb the inner secrets of your faith. You will learn things that many people on your faith path will not, and you will become a deep well of wisdom for those who seek to learn from your path. Cultivate them with compassion and care. Some of them may be your own indigo peers who seek the company of like minds. Hello, THI. Your psychic gifts will grow significantly and others may manifest themselves. At times you'll feel like you're living in a time warp, having deja vu experiences and other synchronistic events nearly consistently. Just not as consistent as David Wilcock, my dad. If you can integrate these changes gracefully, you'll do fine. Just become aware that your antenna will be much more sensitive and events will affect you more deeply. And it said, learn to take some time to sit still and listen within. If you already meditate, continue. Keep a journal and take some time to marvel at the great gifts you've been given. You haven't been given them the all-natural right. Transiting from indigo to octarine will not be easy, but it will be ultimately rewarding. Strive to learn and serve with grace and humour and enjoy the ride. Now, it is my opinion only, as much of the descriptions above do and will fit in with your own personal soul growth. As your awakening continues, but adding in a hidden label is the hook at the end of the line that often most people don't discern or see until it's too late. And this practice has wrapped many people into cults, witchcraft, Wiccan and Druidic practices, New Age program, paganism, and also religions. Because what it does is it speaks to you with what you want to hear. And that is the seducement and the trap, and hook follows. But perhaps this next line will give you further clues as to its intention, as one must also consider this hidden colour was once something good and has been corrupted by the dark forces. It's said, in the practice of the 21st century chaos and magic, M-A''A'-T, magic spelt with C-K on the end. Octarine is the colour of magic, spelt with C-K, the next octave of energy and the stuff of the force. It is a highly refined energy frequency and requires highly refined beings to access it and utilize that. Your transition, difficult though it may be, will permit you to sense and use this energy frequency. It is a vital gift for those who have chosen to help this world through the major transitions ahead. Magic. And we're back to Egypt and the fake gods again. Now, Mart is the masculine counterpart of Thoth, the avian entity who fell. Mart is known as the ruler of law and was where the day of judgment came, with the event of measuring people's hearts against a feather. The question remains, were the people alive when those hearts were removed. And Roman and Greek law came from Mart, it is said. But given Roman and Greek were taken over by the Egyptian Hebrews, perhaps Mart is the origin of the Talmud law-based religion. And that completes a circle.